The world of FPV video and cinema video is changing this year and the last couple years with the advent of FPV drones. The world's most popular FPV drone out there right now is the DJI FPV drone that you're looking at here. We're going to compare it today to the very popular Crocodile5 Baby by Geprc with a decased GoPro Hero 8 on board. We're going to shoot some raw footage from both these drones and compare it so you can see the difference in the video. We're also going to talk about the differences of both of these drones, flight characteristics, the tune, the durability, the fix-it factor, the fun factor, but most importantly, the cinema factor. Let's go ahead and get started with the flight test of both these drones. We'll come back and we'll talk about these drones a little closer on the bench. Welcome back from the flight test. That was a lot of fun. The DJI FPV drone, let's just go ahead and talk about that one first. Now, as this drone sits, it is 788 grams on the scale, total takeoff weight. So I have to tell you that the DJI FPV drone is a big drone. Now, it feels big in the air, it flies like a Cadillac, and if that's what you're looking for, that's absolutely fine. If you want something super stable that you can really send out there and come back home, I was able to get around, I guess around 10 minutes flight time to 11 minutes flight time on a fully charged 6S battery on this drone today. It was a little bit cold outside, around 45 degrees, but I think the colder it is, the less flight time you're going to get on this drone. Now, it also has a gimbal with motor on there, so that's going to be something different in comparison to the Crocodile Baby 5, because you're going to have some moving parts. If you crash, you're going to need DJI to fix this. They do have parts available for it now. Over a year ago now, when it first came out, they didn't have any parts available, and you had to totally rely on DJI to fix this drone. Now, when this drone crashes, talking about durability, the first thing that breaks off this drone is the arm. And you can replace this drone's arm. It does have separate arms front and back. You can release the M2 bolts and replace the motor wire going to the ESCs on board. And honestly, I wouldn't really suggest working on the DJI FPV drone unless you had previous drone experience. So for brand new pilots, it's not really something that I suggest. It would probably be better off for you to get the DJI Care plan. And I think the most vulnerable part of the whole DJI FPV drone is the camera itself. It has a one-axis gimbal which tilts up and down to give you a little faster or slower flying experience, but in my experience, when you do crash, things like this are almost impossible to repair yourself. So this will definitely have to be sent off to DJI. Now, the camera that we're flying today on the Crocodile5 Baby is the Geprc FPV Edition Hero 8. It is a decased GoPro, and this one is on a hard mount, and it can be taken on and off the drone. You can take the SD card out of the side and put it in your laptop and transfer the files down to the computer. It is the same for the DJI drone. You can take the SD card out of that one and also put the video file straight to your computer on your desktop, and you're ready to edit, no problem. The thing about this one in comparison is that they are both fragile. This Hero 8, if you crash it, that's around $500 for that camera. So there's some things to take in consideration here. Do you pay the $500 for something you can take on and off that you can use on other drones? That has a little bit more capability as far as flying it on different drones, and that's really important to a lot of people. The DJI camera is going to be stuck to that DJI drone alone. But again, my favorite part about the Geprc FPV Edition Hero 8 is the fact that I can take it on and off. It can be powered by several different types of power supplies, and that I have the option to remove it. Now, you can also fly and record with the onboard DVR with the 5 Baby. So it has an SD card slot right here on the air module, and put an SD card in there and you're recording on the drone itself from the DJI air module. And there is really no difference between the flight video and the FPV goggles. And the DJI FPV drone goggles, you fly the same goggles on this one as the same goggles that you do on the FPV drone from DJI. So literally the same type of FPV video, no difference there. And as far as range goes, you can fly miles out with both of these. This DJI sitting on the right there, this DJI FPV drone can get around 6 miles out. With this type of battery and this type of flight time, I wouldn't really recommend doing it. I'm sure there's videos out there of people doing it, but I really don't recommend it. I think that it would probably be a bad idea, and you might end up losing battery power and dropping to the ground. That is a real reality of flying drones. So when you go out and you're at about 50%, it's a good idea to start heading back when you're at the 50% level, because eventually you get to the closer to the bottom end of the battery, and it goes a lot quicker when it's at the top end of the battery. Just my experience is flying electric batteries on multi-rotors. Now with the Geprc Crocodile5 Baby, that particular drone can also go miles out. You can fly a Lion on there, and you can get 5 and 6 miles out with a crossfire receiver. But my overall experience as an experienced pilot, the one I would choose to pick up and go fly right now, if I was going to go do a cinema video for FPV style flying, I would pick up the 5 Baby, mainly because it has a better tune on there. Out of the box, this is a more FPV freestyle capable drone. If you want to fly it on a LiPo, you can freestyle this drone, full freestyle, close in, a shorter flight, but a much more powerful and better power to weight ratio. This drone has a lower power to weight ratio, and it just really doesn't have kind of the oomph that the 5 Baby gives you. The 5 Baby over on the left-hand side of the screen, that one will really do some big boosts, big power loops and things like that. If you really want to go hard, you can go hard with this one. Even though it has smaller motors, it has a lot better power to weight ratio than the DJI drone, basically because of the weight differences between the two. And that is the big key factor for me, the tune and the weight ratio. And I can still get 20 minutes flight time on the Croc5 Baby. So that one's a clear winner to me as far as distance and range goes. Now, as far as the cinema quality video goes, it's kind of a toss-up between both of these, because the DJI FPV drone gets spectacular video, very smooth, nice video for cinema style filming and for just recreational filming. I think that if you're worried about props in view, that's one thing that DJI kind of missed the ball on here. So if you have your camera a little bit low and not high up enough, you do see the props in view, and that's a problem for some people. So take that into consideration when you're buying either of these drones. This one you will not see the props in with your Hero 8. And this one, you will see the props in the video. So some people are having to edit out the props or use a special attachment to remove the props from view. So that's one thing also to consider. And again, I have to remind you that the DJI FPV drone, it is around 788 grams. So take that into consideration. It is a very heavy drone. And again, the Geprc Crocodile5 Baby is weighing in at 409 grams. So that's much less weight than the DJI FPV drone. And in a way, I think that's an advantage to be a little bit lighter in the air and have a better power to weight ratio. Just give you a little more speed and smooth flying ability. But overall, I would say that the DJI FPV drone, it's not a bad drone. I've called it a potato on my channel before, and it kind of flies like a potato. It's big and slow, and it's predictable. If that's what you want, that's absolutely what you should buy. If you need forward-facing sensors and obstacle avoidance and all of that stuff, and you're worried about crashing this, this one does have some safeguards, but every time I fly it, I'll tell you, I am afraid to crash it, because right now my DJI Care ran out, and this drone, when I fly it, that's $1,000 up in the air that I can crash somewhere on the ground or into a tree, and then I'm going to have to figure out how to repair it myself. And I can't re-up on the DJI Care after it's been crashed. So take that in consideration. The durability factor is going to be better with the Croc5 Baby on the left. That one is going to go down a little less weight, which gives you a better crash factor. It's just not going to crash as hard into the ground. This one would be into pieces if it hit the ground at a lot of speed. I have flown FPV race drones for around a little over 8 years now, and on my channel I have smacked straight into trees and been able to pick them up, put new propellers back on them, and be flying them the same day at the field. So for guys that are watching this for the first time, the durability factor is going to be a total win with FPV race drones and even these ultralight style cinema rigs. But I really hope you enjoyed the flight comparison of both of these on the stock settings. It did look really dark today with the FPV drone, and I'm not sure why it looks so dark, but I just left it at the stock settings. I've only flown this a handful of times, but I'm continuing to fly it more and more just because it is an easy drone to just pick up and go fly. And if that's what you want without all the setup and hassle, again, I recommend the DJI FPV drone. I do. If you want something that is going to be better for the long run and be able to have more options for freestyle flying and be able to learn to grow to fly acro a little better and have a great long-range option with up to about a 25-minute flight time, the Croc5 Baby is the one to get, absolutely, if you're not afraid of having to use a wrench once in a while. So for the everyday guy, grab the FPV Drone by DJI. That's a great pick. If you're a guy who enjoys camera and filming and you're not afraid to use a wrench, by all means, absolutely grab a Croc5 Baby and you will thank me later. But thanks again for watching the channel, guys. I love doing these videos for you. I will bring you more content, tutorials, repair videos, and more giveaways coming up. We also have a $1 drone that we're giving away on the channel. We're going to announce that by a video short, so make sure you subscribe to find out when that $300 FPV race drone that is going to be given away on the channel. On the DJI, we're actually in the Drone Camp store. It's dronecamps.com. It's going to be $1 in the store, and the day that it drops, you're going to be able to refresh the page, snap it up, and there's only one of them. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned also for the mystery box. There's a $200 box with 3 drones in it. A lot of fun, tons of fun on the channel, and lots of reasons to subscribe right here. I'm Justin Davis, guys. Take care. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the Cadillac versus the Porsche over here on the left. I'll see you on the next one.